There's a moment most people recognize, but almost no one admits. You leave a social situation, a dinner, a conversation, something that went completely fine, and the feeling that hits isn't satisfaction, it's relief. Not because something went wrong, because it's over. Because you can finally be alone. And here's the part nobody says out loud. What does it mean that this is what you were waiting for? Most people answer that question with self-criticism. They call it a problem, a flaw, something to fix. So you stay longer than you want, talk more than you feel, perform availability you don't have. But what if that feeling isn't a problem? What if it's accurate? You're not antisocial. You just notice more than most people. There is a documented neurological reason why certain people function better alone. Why solitude is an escape, it's restoration. Why preferring your own company isn't a deficit, it's precision. In the next few minutes, you'll understand exactly what's happening in your mind and why that was never something to apologize for. It never was. Think about who you used to be. The one who said yes, who showed up, who replied fast, stayed longer, listened more. You were available. Not always because you wanted to be, but because people expected it. So you adjusted. You stayed. You made things easier for everyone else. And for a while, it worked until something changed. Quietly. You started taking longer to respond, started saying no, started noticing something. Being alone didn't feel empty. It felt better, clearer, lighter, more like you. You didn't lose your social skills. You just stopped using them to pay for things you didn't want. And even if you couldn't explain it, you started protecting it. What most people never realize is that this shift wasn't a retreat. It wasn't damage. It wasn't avoidance. It was the mind learning what it actually needs and starting, slowly, to ask for it. Some people don't just experience the world differently. They process more of it. Psychologist Elaine Aron spent decades documenting this. She called it high sensitivity. Around 20% of people take in significantly more information than average. More detail, more emotion, more signals. This isn't anxiety. This isn't weakness. It's input. And more input means more processing. More processing means more energy. And that leads to one thing. You need more time to recover alone. The neurological term is cortical arousal. How fast your brain's processing systems activate. Highly sensitive people reach that point faster, at lower levels of stimulation. So something simple, like a conversation, isn't actually simple for you. You're noticing tone, energy shifts, micro-expressions, what's said and what isn't. You're not just listening, you're reading everything. So what feels normal to others fills your system faster. Not because you're weak, because you're processing more. Solitude isn't avoidance, it's reset. You're not withdrawing from people, you're recalibrating from overload. Isolation isn't where you hide from the world, it's where you process the world you just experienced. Think about the specific texture of social exhaustion, not tiredness. You can be physically rested and still feel completely depleted after a day of interactions. It's a different kind of drain, the kind that sits behind your eyes, that makes simple conversation feel like effort, that makes one more notification feel genuinely unbearable. This isn't tiredness, this is cognitive overload. Most people misread this signal. They call it antisocial behavior, distance, a problem. So they push through it, schedule more, stay later. And the depletion compounds. Your exhaustion isn't weakness. It's your system shutting down to protect itself. You're not avoiding people. You're protecting the only resource that allows you to function at your best: your mental bandwidth. There are two words most people confuse: loneliness, solitude. They can look identical from the outside. Inside, they're completely different. Loneliness is something that happens to you, an absence, something you want to escape. Solitude is something you choose, a condition that gives something back. Loneliness drains you. Solitude restores you. The shift isn't about seeing fewer people. It's about being honest, about which interactions actually add to your life and which ones quietly take from it. You're not disconnecting from people. You're disconnecting from what depletes you. That's not rejection, that's clarity. And accepting that your nervous system has real limits, that isn't selfishness. It's maintenance. Solitude isn't where you lose connection. It's where you recover the ability to connect well. Solitude is the price you pay for a mind that actually thinks. There is something quietly radical about understanding this, because it means the thing you've been apologizing for, the need for space, the preference for your own company, the relief that arrives when the room empties, was never a failure of connection. It was always a form of self-knowledge. The world is built for people who recharge in groups. The calendars, the open offices, the constant availability, none of it was designed with your nervous system in mind. And for a long time, you may have taken that as evidence that something in you needed adjusting. It didn't. The environment was the mismatch, not you. Silence isn't the absence of sound, it's the presence of clarity. You weren't lost in the quiet. You were finding the version of you that doesn't need to perform, and that space most people try to escape, for you, was always home. You were never broken. You were never antisocial. You were never too much, too little, or somehow wrong for needing what you need. You were operating a mind that processes deeply. That fills faster. That requires space to function at its best. The preference for solitude isn't a deficit, it's a design. And the moment you stop apologizing for it and start building a life that works with your nervous system instead of against it, everything becomes clearer. You don't need to perform presence. You need to protect the conditions that make your presence real. If this explains something you've felt but never been able to name, tell me in the comments. To continue this understanding, watch the next video here, and to understand human behavior at a deeper level, subscribe to Decoded Way.